Greetings, a good day to you. It is weekend here. In this teaching series, we are going to be looking at tenses, clauses, and sentences. Several students can easily speak English, probably good English, but some of them have challenges with the placement of verb, especially in the area of tense. What is tense? And how is tense important to your study of English language, English literature, and even to your career generally? And tense is very, very important, and it is one of the areas in English language that has been neglected or not paying much attention to by students, by teachers in various levels and institutions. Then we can say that tense is a term used in grammar to indicate the time of the action or event. Now let's look at it. A tense is a form taken by a verb. That is another way of defining it, to show the time of an action or event. And how can you know the form of the verb? So if I say I is in Canada yesterday, no, certainly you will know that the grammar is wrong. I is in Canada yesterday, because the form of verb there does not indicate that the action took place in the past. And in fact, it is very confusing to say I is in Canada yesterday. But you can't say I was in Canada yesterday. Now that is simple and correct. So the form of verb that indicate whether an action has taken place, an action is taking place, or an action will take place in the future, and that what make up tense. In English grammar, I think, okay, let's see some of the aspects of okay, before present tense. You can see that tense have about 12 categories, and the 12 categories are divided into 3. We have present tense. In present tense we have 4 forms or 4 types, and then in past tense we also have 4 types, and then in future tense we also have 4 types. Now we are going to be looking at present tense. Then we look at what is present tense and what are some of the examples, and then the types and forms of present tense that are common or you will need to know. Now let's look at classes of tense, which the first one is present tense. What is present tense? You know, verb have many forms. So when a verb is used to show that an action take place, that an action take place at present, it simply means that it is present tense. And it also means that things that are true when the words are spoken or written, or are generally true for some languages, will be true in the future. That is we refer to as present tense. Now, let's see some of the examples here. He speaks English well. She writes very beautifully. We are fond of music. They are afraid of snakes. It rains today. All these are examples of present tense. Why? Look at the word in blue. Speaks, writes, are, and rains. All this indicate that the action take place at the present, and still continues. He speaks English well. Know somebody who speaks English well, you will know that certainly the person maybe spoke yesterday and today, even tomorrow, you speak well. And when we say she writes very beautifully, something that is present at this moment, that is the state or the reality of her writing, or the way she writes. We are fond of music, having loving music. So this is some of the examples of present tense. Now let's have a look. Before we go into the types of present tense, we deem it fit that we should discuss the general meaning of present tense, past tense, and future tense. Now let's look at past tense. What is past tense? What is past tense? So we see that past tense occur when a verb is used to show that an action was completed, or things that were true before the word were spoken, or have been completed before the word were spoken or written. That indicates past tense. So the verb will carry a past form, or a form that indicates that the action has taken place. Now look at it where we went to California yesterday. No, this shows went. The word blue. The word in blue shows that the action has taken place. We were in Abuja last year. It's past also because where has indicated that the action has taken place yesterday. Now look at the first example carefully again. If I say he is to California yesterday, you know the grammar is very, very wrong, and it does not indicate any particular action, whether it took place or it is happening or will take place. They stay in a hotel for a week. This also shows that the action is past. I spoke to her for 2 hours. This also indicates that the action is past. I was hot yesterday. Also an example of a past tense. Now let's look at a future tense. What is future tense in English grammar? So we can say a verb take a form that indicates an action will take place in the future when the verb is used to show that an action will take place in the future. And look at it carefully. Things that we all might be true after the word is spoken or written. That is another way to describe future tense. Then in other words, you can also say when the verb is used to show that an action will take place in the future. Look at some of the examples. Unfortunately, I did not highlight the word that indicate future tense here, but I will let you know. Look at the first example carefully. He will go to Jos tomorrow. Jos is one of the states in Nigeria. He will. Now, the verb that indicates that the action will take place in the future here is will. Now look at the second example. Dorothy will be 20 years old next year. The verb that also indicates that the action will take place in the future is will. Okay? We shall marry this year. The word shall in that example 3 indicates that the action is going to happen at the later time of the year, happen in the future. They will send us a telegram. Okay, this also shows that an action will happen in the future. It will rain tomorrow. Indicate past. Now look at it carefully. We have discussed or briefly look at tense and the 3 branches of tense, which is present, past, and future. Now, present tense have types. We have simple present tense, present continuous tense, present perfect tense, and present perfect continuous tense. Now we are going to be looking at the simple present tense. What is simple present tense? A simple present tense shows, or we know that this is simple present tense when a tense is used to show the present tense is known as simple present tense. When a tense is used to show the present tense, like now, we like talking is an example. You stop here. They believe in God. I hope to see you again. All this shows that the action are happening in the present. Okay. Now look at present continuous tense. That is, the action is happening even at the time of speaking or at the time of writing. Okay. So when we say present continuous tense, we mean that when a tense is used to show what is really happening now, that is what we refer to as present continuous tense. Look at some of the examples here. I am writing a letter. The the words in sorry, I'm not so good in color. I think this should be pink or something. The words in the pink indicate that the actions are taking place now. I am writing a letter. She is reading a novel. We are sitting in the garden. They are learning music. All this indicates that the actions are taking place currently. Okay, now look at this present perfect continuous tense. You may not be so familiar with this because this is one of the areas that many people do not pay much attention to before. So what is present perfect continuous tense, and how can you recognize or identify them in a sentence? You do that when a tense is used to show that an action has just been completed, or an action has finished at the moment of speaking. That's what we refer to as present perfect tense. Now look at some of the examples here. Look at the underlying words in the examples. Those words indicate that the action is present perfect tense. She has written a letter. Can you see has written underline? You have discontinued your studies. This is also indicates that an action the action is in perfect tense. They have built the house. No, it shows that the moment they have completed the building of the house. We have waited for her. This also indicates that the action is in perfect tense. Okay, now look at present perfect continuous tense. What is the difference between present perfect tense and present perfect continuous tense? Okay, now look at it very carefully. We recognize or identify present perfect continuous tense when a tense is used to show that an action has been taking place since a point of time in the past and in progress up till now. Okay, that shows that it is present perfect continuous tense. Look at some of the examples. I have been reading a novel. Have been reading a novel shows that it is a continuous, present perfect continuous tense. You have been singing a song. It has been raining. Has been raining also indicate it is in perfect continuous form. He has been learning English. This also indicates that has been learning English indicates that it is in perfect continuous tense. Now I'm going to give you a class work. Write two examples of present continuous tense, simple present tense, and present perfect tense. I'm going to assess your assignment or your classwork. Please write it on the comment section, and then I'm going to assess it and then get back to you immediately within 24 hours. Okay, now let's go to types of past tense. We have the first one, which is simple past tense. How can we indicate or identify a simple past tense? We do that when a verb shows that an action was completed in the past. Look at the example here. You sang a song. Sang here indicates that the action has taken place. She wrote a letter. Wrote here also indicates it rained heavily. Rained here in example 3 also indicate that the action has taken place in the past. We waited for her. Waited indicated it. He learned English. Learned also indicates that the action took place in the past. Now look at past continuous tense. When a tense is used to show that an action was in progress or incomplete in the past, we refer to it as past continuous tense. Look at some of the examples here. We are waiting for her. We are waiting for her indicate that the action has been taking place. And then you were singing a song. There we are building the house. I was reading a novel. It was raining heavily. All this was raining, was reading, we are building, we are singing. we are waiting. This indicates that the action in past continuous tense. Okay, and look at it carefully again. We have past perfect tense. How can you identify past perfect tense? We do that when the tense is used to show that an action had completed earlier before another action began, and we refer to it as past perfect tense. Past perfect tense rather. Now look at the past perfect tense. She had written a letter. Had written indicate that it is past perfect. You had sung a song. Had sung also indicate. She had written a letter. Had written also indicate. I had read a novel. I had also indicate that it is in past perfect tense. They had built the house. Had built also indicated. Now let's look at past perfect continuous tense. Alright, so when a tense is used to show that an action had been in progress up to when another action began, we say that it is in past perfect continuous tense. Alright, I had been reading a novel. Had been reading us indicates that the action is in past perfect continuous tense. We had been waiting for her. You had been singing a song. They had been building the house. All this indicates that the actions took place in the past. Now let's go to types of future tense. I'm going to be fast because of time. I really wish the recording should not be more than 20 minutes. We are going to be discussing several other videos, so make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you will be notified when the other videos are uploaded. Now look at the simple future tense. What is future tense? We have discussed it in the previous slide. You can check or forward or backward the video so that you can see the meaning of a future tense. Now we are going to be discussing simple future tense. Okay, now we identify simple future tense when a tense is used to show that some action will take place in the future. Okay, now look at the example. I shall read a novel. We will learn. No, he will learn English. We shall wait for her. She will write a letter. No, shall read, we learn, shall wait, we write. All these are examples of a simple future tense. Now let's go to future continuous tense. How can you indicate future continuous tense? And what is really future continuous tense? We identify it by when a tense is used to show that some action will be in progress in the future. Okay, that we refer to as future continuous tense. Look at some of them here. Look at the examples. You will be singing a song. Will be singing indicate that the action is in future continuous tense. I shall be reading a novel. She will be writing a letter. They will be building the house. All this indicate that the actions are going to be taking place in the future. Okay, now look at future perfect tense. How can we indicate that? How can we identify that? How can we know that a form of verb indicate that the action is in future perfect tense? We do that when the tense is used to show that some action will be finished in future. Okay, now look at some of the examples here. I shall have read the novel. You will have sung a song. They will have built the house. She will have written the letter. All this indicate. Now look at some of the phrases that indicate that the action is in future perfect form. Shall have read. We have sung. They will have built. No, we have built. We have written. All these indicate that the actions are in future perfect tense. Now look at the future perfect continuous tense. All right, when a tense is used to show that some action will have been in progress in the future, it is regarded as future perfect continuous tense. Okay, now look at some of the examples here. I shall have been reading the novel. and we shall have been seeing the film. You will have been singing a song. They will have been building the house. Now, one of the challenges that people have, some people believe that the tenses are not more than 8. But looking or going through this video, you will agree that we have 12 tenses here. Okay? So, read, study, do more research on it so that you will know that the tenses are actually 12, not 8. And in our subsequent video, we are going to be discussing clause, types of clause, and examples of clause. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell so that anytime the videos are uploaded, you will be notified and then you will continue with your study. And at the same time, if you need a private online lesson in any aspect of English language or literature, let us know. And we are going to organize the lesson for you. We have been doing it for a lot of students. Okay, make sure you let us know, and then we will organize it for you. I currently doing my PhD in English, and at the same time my colleague here also doing PhD in literature. So we are good at the area of English language and literature, and we are going to put it through for any exam, either for IELTS or any other English. Oh yeah, we are going to do it for you. Well, make sure you do it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel.